Hi, this is Ed Amoroso, and welcome back to Tag Talk. In this video series, we cover a bunch of things. I share with you my views on cybersecurity vendors and on cybersecurity topics. And today, I want to talk a little bit about kind of the confluence of some current events with technology and definitely cybersecurity. Let me sort of back up. We're talking to you in mid-June 2025, and I'm watching these news reports of what's going on in Los Angeles has me very upset. And it's got me thinking back to an earlier era when cybersecurity was first emerging. Here's what I was seeing back then. We were seeing these problems we couldn't make sense of. Like before we had the early cybersecurity problems, we were all sharing on the internet. Everything was honest and open and trusted and sharing. It was great until it wasn't great, until suddenly people were breaking into each other's machines. It was freaking all of us out, particularly at Bell Labs where I was working, where we helped to invent the concept of sharing. So what happened? A whole industry emerged, one that I was part of kind of creating, where we're putting firewalls in front of everything. You can almost think of a firewall as a lens through which data comes in and out, and you define what comes in and out. And I remember thinking I was nuts when I said you're going to have that in front of every company, in front of every system, in front of every computer. You're going to need this kind of filtered lens because of all the craziness going on the internet with cybersecurity. I see it happening now with disinformation. Very similar thing. And the problem is that depending on where you are on the spectrum, your definition is going to be a little different. But a fact is a fact. If there's somebody sitting here and they drop a pencil on the ground, the pencil dropped on the ground. And if somebody tells you afterwards it didn't happen or it did happen, that's where we get into sort of these new problems that remind me of the old thing. And again, this disinformation thing is when something is factual and then it's intentionally misinterpreted and presented to you as fake information. I see it as an online risk. I see things with at least false narratives about companies. And I definitely see it in fake video, fake images, all of these deep fake kind of technologies that are out there now that can be very troublesome. The good news is that there's a lot of really good technology now that's being developed. And I think technology to the rescue here, in a sense. I see some companies that I absolutely love. There's a company called Alethea that does really good work in online risk management, a company called Blackbird that does great work in dealing with narrative threats. There's a company called Get Real Labs that's dealing with deep fakes. These are technologists that are trying to provide a lens for you so that as information goes in and out, you can tune it depending on, I presume, some sort of a policy, or maybe you can ground or root that in something that's part of your personal ethos. So I think we're entering an era now where we're going to have to find a way for technology to help us. Because when you look at these things like in Los Angeles, a lot of misinformation and disinformation and nonsense that's coming across. And it reminds me of the garbage I was seeing on the internet in the 70s and 80s. You know, I go pretty far back in this. I was looking at these problems before. I'm sure a lot of you were. So now, again, deja vu all over again. So here's my hope. If you're watching and if you work in these areas, I think it's a higher calling now. It's more than just providing technology to deal with threats. You got to help us with our society. We got to get to the point where we're all kind of proverbially watching Walter Cronkite together, and we have some lens that we can trust and something that provides facts to us. I think tech can help. I think AI can help. And I'm certainly sort of knocking wood here that in the next few years we see something more promising than just a lot of continued bad narratives and deep fakes and other kinds of stuff. So by all means, in the comments here, let me know what you think. I know this is a controversial topic. I want to hear from you. Make sure you're liking and subscribing. We need to know that you're there. Please put some comments in. Tell me what you're thinking. This is a vibrant area. I need to hear from you. We need to make sure that the tech community is doing everything it can to not just improve our industry, but all of society. So I look forward to hearing from you.